I'd like to welcome Megan Sass to the screen. And Megan has been doing a terrific job working in this program. Yes, thank you, Megan. And it's been a pleasure to have Megan here. I've known Megan actually since she was a student at Syracuse, and I was up there and been following her career a very long time now. So it's nice to welcome her to Queens Theatre as a colleague and as an artist and as a curator. So thank you for your work, Megan. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that incredibly flattering opening. I think the most flattering thing you said there, Dominic, is indeed that you've been following my career, which would of course imply that I have one. So thank you. Thank you for that. I also just want to start off by saying happy Pride Month. This is not in fact a pride flag. It is a cat toy. I do have to preface every Zoom meeting and every show by warning that I do have a cat. His name is Sterling, and he may make an appearance at any time, whether I want him to or not. So I want to start off in honor of Pride Month by talking about labels. I know that there's a lot of disagreement in the community. I have some people that say, I hear some people that are like, I hate labels. I am who I am. I don't ascribe to this gay, straight, bisexual, pansexual. I love who I love. It doesn't matter. I'm in full disagreement. Not only am I a big fan of labels, but I think we should have our dating status and our sexuality tattooed on our foreheads at all times. Because that tells me some very important information, which is, can I hit on you? I obviously don't want to waste my time with people that are in relationships or people that are not into women. Just gets that out of the way. And it did take me a long time to figure out what my label was. You know, for a long time, I didn't know that bisexuality was a thing that existed. And in retrospect, all of the clues were there. But I grew up understanding that there were gay people and there were straight people, there were lesbians and there were straight girls. And I would hear descriptions of these kinds of people, and I would be very confused about where I fell. But in retrospect, all the signs were there. Like, for example, I would hear from people that you can tell a lesbian because lesbians wear their hair in a low ponytail and straight girls wear their hair in a high ponytail. And I would be like, and I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, my ponytail is in the middle of my head. What does that mean? Signs are there. I was also told you can tell lesbians because they have very short nails, and straight girls have long nails. Now, I play guitar. So I have one hand where I cut my nails completely, and I have one hand where I grow them out. One long, one short. Again, all the signs were there. I would also hear things like lesbians are attracted to women and straight girls are attracted to men. And I was like, well, I'm attracted to both. Again, all of the signs were there. I just didn't know what to call myself. And finally, I understood that bisexuality was a thing. And then I understood that pansexuality is also a thing. But I've decided to just stay with bisexual because it took that one long enough to explain to my parents. And I don't feel like having to explain to my parents what pansexual means. So just I'm sticking with that particular label for now. Although I do think that one of the misconceptions that people have about me as a bisexual is people make the assumption that it's like, oh, as a bisexual, you're attracted to all human bodies equally. I want to come out and say that's not true for me. I am bisexually because I am equally terrified of all human bodies. I am just as afraid of sleeping with this person as I am with this person. So I am a bisexual. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. We have some great comedians. I know everyone always says that, but for us it's true. So we're gonna jump right in. Our first comedian tonight is Emily Walsh. You've heard her on the Alone At podcast, and you've seen her on HBO's Women in Comedy Festival. Please welcome Emily Walsh.
Woo! Hello. Hi, guys. I am excited to be here on the internet with you. I got really dressed up for you guys, obviously. Yeah, they say that you should dress for the job that you want, and I want to be your dad. That's what this look is. I've basically been wearing this t-shirt for all of quarantine. That's kind of my whole vibe. I don't know about you guys. I am starting to miss picking out outfits in quarantine, having somewhere to go, putting on a whole look. We're just kind of dressing for this 8 inches these days. And when I get dressed, I don't know if you guys have a style icon. I always really want to look like a rude barista. I don't know if that's relatable. But I feel like I always end up looking a lot more like the saddest girl at a tech startup, you know? Like she eats lunch alone. She throws a lot of themed birthday parties. You guys know. You guys are actually allowed to laugh at that joke because I wrote it and I bought these glasses. I know what I look like. I know what we're dealing with. I know that most people just look at me and they just think, damn, she probably knows a lot about Teddy Roosevelt. I do, if anybody wants to talk about him. Literally ever. I don't have a job right now, you guys. Doing comedy on the internet is weird. It's weird for so many reasons. But part of the reason is that a lot of people like to make jokes about their appearance, about their vibe, about what they look like, about what they're dressed like. And now everyone looks like your unemployed uncle. That kind of used to be my thing. But we're all unemployed uncles these days. I do have a couple surprises for you guys. The first surprise in my set, I am not gay. Yeah, I am not a lesbian. I know I look like one. I know that's my vibe. I've discovered that's still my vibe, even just 8 inches up. But I'm not a lesbian. I do think I'd be a really good one. Mostly because a lot of lesbians have said that to my face. That is why. Panelist D asked me about the Cannondale. That is also a reason that you might think I was gay. I do cycle. I have biked that bike hundreds and hundreds of miles. But yeah, I'm not a lesbian. But I was confused about it growing up. You know, I played a lot of softball. I bought Crocs the year they came out. That's a comfortable shoe. That's why I did that. And you know, I wasn't really sure. And then when I was 12, I saw that movie Air Force One. Do you guys remember that movie, Harrison Ford? Anybody? I'm going to assume because I can't see you. He's the president in it. That's kind of all you guys need to know. And at one point, Harrison Ford looks at this Russian terrorist and he just goes, "Get off my plane." And then I knew I was either straight or a patriot. It was one or the other. Excited about that. People have been assuming I'm gay since I was about 14, and it doesn't offend me, but I do try to like diagnose, you know, what they're thinking, what they're getting from me. And I think it's because people forget that you can like boy stuff, but also like boy stuff, you know? You can do both. That joke sometimes works a little better when you really get that I'm doing a crotch grab, but you guys are smart. You figured it out. I live with a man. We are getting married. I got engaged, you guys. Yeah, the day before quarantine, you guys. I got engaged the day before quarantine. So I don't know if anybody remembers, but for a long time we thought this was going to be 2 weeks. We thought we'd just like go in our houses for 2 weeks. So we got engaged that Sunday night, you know, Monday, shelter in place is happening. We got engaged. We came home, you know, we drank champagne. We called our families and we were like, this will be so fun. We'll just put on sweatpants and pretend to be married for 2 weeks. And now you know, it's been 3 months. You know, you guys know it's been 3 months. And I know when you're getting married, you're choosing one person to be with. You're going to pick one person. But I did not realize I was picking that one person to be with only for the rest of time, it seems. But you know, we're doing okay. And it was when we got engaged, you know, it kind of felt cute. It was like, oh, the beginning of quarantine, you know, we're getting engaged. But now it kind of feels like the people that got engaged before they went off to war, you know, like it's just like, I want you to know before any of this really gets crazy that I loved you. You know, you were I loved you. I told a joke recently and a man just shouted like, marriage is worse. Marriage is worse than this. Like, watch out. Marriage is worse than quarantine. And I was like, sir, if your marriage is worse than an unprecedented global pandemic, you should get divorced. Like that's not a fun joke. That's a really big cry for help. It has been weird because I've never been engaged without being quarantined, and I have never been quarantined without being newly engaged. So I did, at the beginning, I had very weird expectations for both, you know, like I just assumed everybody was like drinking champagne and having extra sex and getting congratulated by their families all the time. And I just figured all newly engaged couples, you know, just ate pizza and cried a lot also. You know, there was a lot of carbs in the beginning. It's very weird to be planning a wedding while everyone else's relationships are crumbling around you. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have friends. I feel like all of my friends are just, all I get is messages that are like, we're not going to make it. I don't know. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to move. It's over. It's done. So that's very weird because I'm just like, oh, we're okay. But we did both lose our jobs due to this. We both work in TV production, and we're not working right now, which is funny to me because we were deemed not essential. But I think that most Americans would say it's like doctors, groceries, and then fresh TV content. So about that, we'll see about how they feel about keeping us at home in a couple more months. But we both did lose our jobs, and so our wedding is getting less fancy every month that goes by. And the goal, you guys, the goal was a barn. That was like the nicest wedding we were ever going to have, was going to be in a barn. So I'm not sure where it'll be now. Maybe the barn's field, maybe the field next to the barn. I actually told that joke recently, and somebody was like, you don't have open field money. Open fields are going to be very valuable in the new world for drive-in movies and socially distant, I don't know, dinners. And they're probably right. So I'll get back to you. It might be on Zoom. We might do it, you know, over, who knows? Our engagement it's going well, but I do kind of feel like it's an episode of Survivor. We are just trying to make it to the end. It's actually in quarantine. It's a little more like Naked and Afraid. We're trying to figure out what we're doing. I do think any couple that's quarantined in New York City, I live in Queens, any couple that is quarantined in New York City that is currently engaged, at the end, Governor Cuomo should have to officiate our wedding. And I wanted to do it topless, you guys. I want to know if he has those nipple rings. That is what I want. I want to confirm that for my wedding, and I think he owes that to us. I think a lot of you would agree. It's been weird to be stuck inside because everybody, if you go online, there's a lot of tips on how to stay sane, stay healthy, get through this, blah, blah, blah. None of those people that wrote those tips live in New York City, you guys. Not a single one of them. I read something online the other day that was like, hey, if you're feeling really pent up, if you're feeling really trapped in your house, why don't you, sleep in the guest room tonight? Just mix it up, get into a different space. I was like, if you think there's a space in my apartment where I can't hear my fiance play video games, you've got another thing coming. There are 4 rooms in here, you guys. And even in the shower, I can hear him on his virtual farm. I know what he's doing. I've been trying to work out, but all of the workout tips involve a lot of jumping. I don't know if you guys have been seeing that. And I live in an apartment above my very annoying and angry landlord. So I have the choice of either getting evicted or getting fat. That is the only choice for me in quarantine. This situation has definitely turned my fiance. He is a straight man, but he is also an overworked mother of 3 right now. He's been baking a lot of bread. He keeps talking to me about our Costco budget. He went in the kitchen the other day and I heard him just let out a big sigh, and he was just like, I just cleaned up in here. And then I had to hide from him because I had made that mess. There's only 2 of us, you guys. He is an overworked mother, and I am his teenage son because all I do is eat pizza rolls and complain to him. But he's a sweetie pie. I don't like to talk about him. I know when comedy happens in the real world, there's a lot of people that talk about their spouses and their boyfriends and girlfriends, and they're always kind of making fun of that person. It's never like kind words. And my fiance is what you might call a sweetie pie. Like when he eats Ben and Jerry's ice cream, he calls it Benjamin and Gerald's. And he gets a kick out of it every time he does it, you guys. And so I don't like to make fun of him, but he was trying to be supportive of me in comedy. So he started listening to podcasts about comedy. Not my podcast, not anything I recommended, but on these podcasts, somebody said that a person who doesn't do stand-up could be called a civilian. And so he's like, got it. I'm a civilian. And then I took him to a party that was all comedians, and I still don't know why. And one of them was just trying to be polite. And he was like, hey, man, I've actually never seen you perform before. Where do you normally go up? And my fiance just goes, oh, no, I'm not a civilian, or I'm a pedestrian. Fuck, you guys, that's the joke, is I said the wrong word. He said he was a pedestrian. I've ruined everything. That was my closer. You guys are great. That is just quarantine in a nutshell, is you think it's going fine, and then something new happens. I love you all. I'm Emily Walsh. Have a good night.
Woo! Everybody, Emily Walsh. I'll also point out that you can follow her on Twitter at The Funny Walsh. Many of us have replaced our names with her Twitter handles. Now, I just noticed something fun. This did not happen last week, but we have a chat function here. It seems that this week some of our audience have discovered this chat function. Now, I have to say, far preferable than in-person heckling, but I'm only just looking back on the chat, and someone named D, whoever you are, apparently had a lot of joke suggestions for me. So I'm going to go ahead and read those now. D said, would you have tattooed on your forehead, I'm not picking up the check for dinner? That's neither a sexuality nor a dating status, so no. Also, I am a feminist, and I believe that we should both be paying for our own food, so no is the answer to that question. D also said, how about trisexual? You'll try sex with anybody. No, not D. I will not. Just because I'm bisexual does not mean I'm not capable of being very judgmental. I am a human being, and I'm a judgmental human being, and I will not try sex with anybody. And I certainly understand why a lot of people do not want to try to have sex with me. So, moving on. Also, Emily, my sister-in-law and brother, it's weird that I started with sister-in-law. My brother got married in a barn, and I was a bridesmaid. And I realized, one of the bummers about bridesmaids dresses is that you only get to wear them once. Well, it occurs to me that in quarantine, no one is around. This is the time for me to be making use of that bridesmaid's dress. I should be wearing it every day just to get the full cost out of it, because who cares? All right. Thank you for the one who humored me with a chuckle on that. All right. So, we are moving on. I love our next comedian. As a comic, sure, but as a person. This next comic is currently a correspondent on Full Frontal with Sam B. He's very funny and also nice to look at. This isn't sexual harassment. It's factual. Also, he wrote his own intro. Please welcome Mike Brown.
Yay!
It's gonna be horrible. What's up, y'all? Oh man, this is great. This is the first time I've ever done comedy in shorts. I feel so relaxed. I've never felt more relaxed in my life. The thing about doing this set right now is if I bomb, I have to live in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like if you bomb at a club, you can just leave. Like, it's gonna stay in this room, but whatever. Things are great. I'm really happy to be here at my own place. So I had moved from where I was at to be with my family during this whole quarantine thing. And it's just so interesting because of everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. So, I'm in Jersey and I have a lot of white neighbors. I whisper it now because of what's going on, the revolution. And I haven't met any of them yet, and I don't know how we're gonna meet, because I want to be friendly and go up to them like, hey, how you doing? But I think I can't do that because that would set the movement back. You know what I mean? Do Black Lives Matter? Do your neighbors matter? You know what I mean? So I'm just waiting. But it's also a very awkward situation for them too, because they can't just come up and start talking to me. How do you explain it? Just like, oh, hey, just want to introduce myself. Why? Because you're Black? Oh, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. I mean, you're new. I mean, what are you doing here? I don't mean it like that, but what are you doing here? Just a very, very, very weird time. It's just so interesting to see how like all of these brands are now just like pro-Black for no reason. and I get it. You want to be supportive and down with the cause, but some of you brands, like, we don't need you. You really don't. Like, Black Lives Matter got the support from Gushers, the fruit snack. Gushers. This is the tweet they sent out. Gushers wouldn't be Gushers without the Black community. And your voices. We're working with Fruit by the Foot on creating a space to amplify that. We see you. We stand with you. Huh? First of all, the Black community has never outwardly said, hey, yo, we love Gushers. It's never happened. I don't know what prompted Gushers to put this out. Like, I don't know if they want like a revolution to happen. Like, if the marches are going on and somebody's like, hey, man, let's loot the store, and people are stealing candies and they about to get the Gushers, and somebody's like, nah, man, not the Gushers. Not the Gushers. They too are judged by their outwardly appearance. People don't look at their insides. Not Gushers. They brothers. What? No, that's not happening. It's not happening. What are we doing? And plus, I don't trust any candy company to make a safe space, okay? I saw Willy Wonka. I saw the Munchkins. I didn't see any lunch breaks. You know what I mean? I don't trust it. I don't fucking trust it. I feel really bad for the Black cops out there right now. Like, that shit must suck. It must suck to be a Black cop. I think if you are a Black cop, I think you should be able to just gracefully leave your job, still get paid, because you need reprieve. You know, like, you need that reprieve. That should happen. I also feel bad for anybody in an interracial relationship right now. I think that you should be able to just leave the relationship, still have sex, because you need the reprieve. It is a very stressful time for everybody. I mean, and I say that because, like, I've been in interracial relationships. I know how it is. It can get real hard. It can get really hard. You know, my ex was white. One of my friends told me that I had a white woman problem, which was interesting, and disrespectful, because you never look at it from my position. You know, I'm a tall, educated Black man with hazel eyes. I am the white woman problem. It's not my fault. I didn't even know about white women until 2010, okay? They just started moving into my neighborhood, you know? It's less of a problem and more of an environmental issue, if you really think about it. I'm thinking a lot about microaggressions these days, a lot of microaggressions actions. And like, everything I think about is like, man, every interaction that I've had with white people hasn't been a microaggression. This is my favorite story. This happened in February, which is Black History Month, one of my favorite months. You know, I celebrate it like everybody else. I just listen to rap, you know, and just be extra woke. And a coworker of mine, former coworker, says, hey, Mike, happy chocolate month. Which I'm like, what the fuck? And it's a microaggression. Like, I don't know what to do. You can't go to HR and be like, hey man, somebody called me a flavor. You can't do it. So I went to Googled it. Turned out February is National Chocolate Month. It's a real thing. How the fuck did that happen? Like, was there a meeting somewhere? Maybe you had all like the chocolate. Maybe you had big chocolate somewhere in the room. Big chocolate. Big chocolate sounds like the greatest porn character of all time. Big chocolate's in the room. Having a meeting. And they're like, oh man, we really need to get our chocolate sales up. What should we do? How should we do this? When should we have chocolate month? And I'm sure, because of diversity, of course, there had to be at least one Black person in there who was just like, hey man, whatever you guys do, let's not do this during February. Please, this doesn't make any sense. And then they just justify, what? It's not racist, it's delicious. February it is. You're like, the fuck? Okay. I don't know how this country is going to look after all these things are over. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how things are going to look. But what I am getting ready for is for a problem that's going to be afflicting white people for generations and generations to come. In the effort to be more woke, there's going to be more reading. And from the people who brought you, mansplaining comes whitesplaining. It is going to plague the nation. I am tired of the Martin Luther King quotes that have been thrown at me, and I'm not ready for W.E.B. Du Bois to come back to haunt me. Not ready for it. Okay. That's that. On a more serious note, it's really fucked up what happened to George Floyd, and this has just been like a systemic issue with the police, and we really have to do something about it. I remember like the case that really like struck me was years ago in Ferguson. There was a kid who was killed because he was apparently stealing cigarettes and he really wasn't doing it, and his cop killed him. And when I found out all the information, like at the end of the day, I got really upset. I realized and was awakened to how bad the police could be, the police state we're living in, the way that Black people are sometimes hunted down in the streets, and then there needed to be a change. And I was just like so upset when I found all these things out at the end of the day. At the beginning of the day, though, all I saw was Mike Brown trending, and that's my name. So I obviously thought I made it, you know. I was like really happy at the beginning of the day. I'm just like, oh shit, yeah! I'm trending in New York. Trending in LA. I'm trending in Ferguson. I don't know why. I never get it, you know. It's just, you know, my friends are texting me like, Mike, do you know what's going on right now? I'm texting them back like, you know what's going on right now? Shit is crazy. It's lit. Just turned out it was just a really sad day for everyone involved, really. Yeah, that's a great closer, right? That's that's an IB closer. Yeah, that's it. This was fun to do. This is my first stand-up show in the internet, and I don't know how it went, but I had a lot of fun. Shout out to Queens Theater. Follow me on Twitter and stuff. Yo, Mike Brown. Megan, back to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Mike Brown, everybody. And please check him out on Sambi. He also has his own web series. Check out all of his stuff at Yo Mike Brown. So I'm gonna my little makeshift mic here. I think Mike had the right idea with creating a mic. So I turned the cat toy into a mic. It sort of looks like a lollipop. So we're continuing to stay on theme here. So, you know, I hear about people talking about having trouble being in a relationship during quarantine, but as a person who has had literally no human contact, and I mean, as a person who's immunocompromised, like I'm not even supposed to go to the store. I have not touched another human person in 3 months. I'm starting to look back and fondly remember even some of the people that I know were horrible for me to be dating. Like, for example, when I got out of my last long-term relationship, I rebounded with the exact wrong kind of guy, a libertarian. Now, I don't think I should have to explain why dating a libertarian is a bad idea. But now that I'm alone, I look back and I remember certain things that were actually positive about that relationship. Here is the best thing about dating a libertarian. When you date a libertarian and they ask you any question you don't want to answer, you have the easiest out. You just say, I don't know. Let's let the free market decide. Like, for example, hey, honey, where do you want to go to dinner tonight? I don't know. Let's let the free market decide. Do you think you're ready to meet my mother? I don't know. Let's let the free market decide. Did you come? No. Could really use that invisible hand of the free market right about now. I will say that dating a libertarian, gave me a new respect for fiscal responsibility, which is, of course, what I named my vibrator. That's not to say, I don't want to say that all libertarians are bad and bad. I don't want to paint everybody with the same brush. Obviously, there are some libertarians that are, in fact, women. But I will also say that dating a libertarian, not as difficult as dating a communist. Because with a communist, here's how that ends up breaking down. Did you come? No. That's okay, because I did, and we can share it. No, Carl, that's not how any of this works. We cannot redistribute your orgasm. Does not work that way. Now, as a woman who sort of straddles the liberal and leftist sphere politically, I've obviously dated quite a few liberals and I've dated quite a few leftists. And with liberals, the conversation goes, did you come? No. And then the liberal says, okay, I'm sorry. I recognize that you did not come. And I would like to spend hours talking about all of the ways that we can do better in the future and how I can better make you come. Now, on the plus side, I feel very heard. But on the downside, liberals never deliver on that promise. It's like they're really good at edging. They're really good at talking about getting you there, but you never get that big finish that you were promised. And leftists are very similar. There's a lot of big promises about how they're going to be even better than my liberal ex, but then when they can't deliver, somehow it's always the liberal ex's fault that they also could not get me there. I'm gonna introduce our next comic. Our next comic is Shannon DeVido. You have seen her on Difficult People, Insatiable, and on The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. Please welcome Shannon DeVido.
Hello. How's it going? That's the first time anyone's ever mispronounced my first name. I've gotten Shannon DeVido, Shannon Dorito. I've gotten them all. But Shannon always seems to be consistent. But this is the first. I'm very excited about it. I'm just saying. I feel excited.
Sharon? Did I say Sharon?
You did, but I'm excited about it. You said it twice, but I'm excited. I'm sorry. I couldn't not.
You don't have to apologize.
Go.
I'm sorry. All right. At least I messed up a white person's name.
It's good. I'm glad that we're on the same page about that.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Anywho, hi.
Yay.
I am Shannon DeVido. How's it going? Maybe Sharon for tonight. Who knows? We'll see where this goes. I do think it is important that you guys know that I'm in a wheelchair. It's very weird for me to not have that be the first thing that people notice. I wear glasses. That's not as interesting, I guess. But I feel like I should show you or something. I don't know. Zoom is weird. Oh, what? It's happening. Okay. All right. Now that we got that out of the way. Because some of my jokes won't make any sense if you don't know that fact. They probably won't make any sense anyway, but they would definitely not make sense if you don't know that I'm Anywho, let's talk about food. So, have you guys ever eaten Cheetos directly out of the bag? Not a respectable bag that was created to pretend that you understand portion control. Like a giant party-sized bag the kind that someone looks at and goes, who the heck is going to eat all those Cheetos? You are, champion. That's who. But you don't feel bad about buying this giant bag of Cheetos because you got them at Costco with your membership that you bought on Groupon, like a true suburban adult. And you don't eat them delicately one by one like you're an Archduke or Meghan Markle. You eat them by the handful, shoving them into your mouth like a true American. And as you sit on your couch watching TV, inevitably one is going to fall between the couch cushions. Now, you could reach down and clean it up and clean up all the crumbs. immediately. But there's 9 seasons of The Office on Netflix, and you have shit to do. So that Cheeto sits in between the cracks of your couch cushion, gathering dust and hair and mold and just getting grosser and grosser right under your nose until one day your mom called and says she's coming to visit. And as you hear her judging you through the phone, you get all of your cleaning supplies together and you start cleaning your house very intricately. And finally, you get to your couch cushions and you lift them up, and there it is, the stray Cheeto in all its disgusting glory. And as you stare at this grossness, you wonder if you could cover it back up, but you can't at this point. And you have to get rid of it. You wish that one of your friends would come over and clean up the disgusting mess, but they're busy. They're not going to come. Plus, it's too gross. And you think, man, if I just worked a little bit harder a while back, it wouldn't have gotten to this terrible point. And as you think of all of this, you wonder how the personification of this very moment is still our fucking president. Anyway, that's how I'm doing. How are you guys? I'm very angry all the time. I used to like things like taco bowls and walls and people named Lindsay, but now I just find myself rooting for stairs and, poison Big Macs.
Sorry.
And the aliens from Independence Day. And then, Corona comes and I didn't see that one coming. But I think besides the paralyzing fear, I've been kind of okay. I hate leaving my house anyway. I'm a very awkward hugger, so that's been avoided. So that's kind of fun. And with all the Zoom hangouts, I still get to do my favorite thing, cancel plans. So it works out. I do miss baseball though. It's my favorite thing about summer, hot dogs and hot guys working out for me. And when I was a kid, I actually thought I was going to be a pitcher for the Chicago Cubs, which is sad for multiple reasons. But one, mainly, I wanted to do that because my parents told me that I could be anything I wanted because they're liars. Anyway, so my supportive father found this baseball league for kids with disabilities, and which was cool on paper. However, the rules, one of the rules was that you couldn't keep score, so that nobody's feelings would get hurt. Oh no. That is the whole point of sports. One team's feelings gets hurt. That's what it's all about. In Brazil, an official made a bad call in a game, and this people in the stands got so angry that they ran down to the field, chopped his head off, and then started kicking his head around like a soccer ball. I'm not saying that I condone that behavior, but I watched an entire NFL season where the refs didn't seem to know what holding was. So I'm just saying I understand where they're coming from. Anyway, no score. So, okay, so I would show up looking adorable in my little uniform, and had a notebook under my hat, like I was like some sort of 1920s detective. And I would keep score in the dugout. And so then after the game, I would go up to everyone and I'd be like, hi, we won. Hi, just wanted you to know we won. Haha, whose feelings are hurt now, bitch? Oh, P.S., we won. I was not allowed back the next season. I'm not sure why. So I did not become a pitcher for the Cubs. Instead, I became an actor because I hate food. Anyway, so I think that we can all decide that this is the end of the world. My bets were on nuclear holocaust, but I'm not sure. But I really do think that we're headed towards a zombie apocalypse. Now, this is interesting to me because I think we can all decide that I'm going to be first to be zombified, right? Like, I don't think the zombies are going to take a minute from running around trying to kill everybody so I can like plug in my chair. But I like to call it, I'm going to be a zombie early adopter. But my question is, what kind of zombie am I going to be? Like, am I going to be able to walk? Am I just going to sit in my chair and like people are going to bring me brains? Or am I going to have a zombie service dog where I just get attached to a dog and then they just drag me around to the brains? I don't know. These are things I think about. But I'm more concerned, I think, that I am world's pickiest eater. So the idea of eating brains sounds horrifying. I don't even like gummy brains, and my diet is 88% candy. So, like, what would be the chicken fingers and fries kid meal version of brains for zombies? Don't say kids brains. Don't say kids brains, because that's zombie veal, and that's gross. Yeah. Anyway, I really don't want to be a starving zombie being dragged around by a zombified dog. So what I'm trying to say is, please vote. Anyway, that's all I got. That's where I am. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This has been really fun. Bye.
Thank you. Shannon DeVido, everybody.
Shannon.
Oh, man. I do a whole thing where I make sure I'm pronouncing everybody's names correctly. And then I mess up Shannon. I'm so sorry about that. All right. Our next comedian, you have seen her on Full Frontal with Sam B. You have seen her on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And she also hosted her own show, You Can Do Better, on True TV. Please welcome Abbi Crutchfield.
Hey, thanks everybody. And thanks everybody that went, that you've seen tonight. They're super, super funny. Our host Megan included. Happy to see everybody here. And I will try to read your chats afterward and then text you about it on Twitter later. That's my second home. Maybe some of you guys know me from there. Hashtag White House bunker snacks. Let's play along. All right. What is Donald Trump eating in that bunker anyway? Pig Newtons? Maybe a candy like Now and Liars? Perhaps something healthy like Unkind Bars. Thank you, White House bunker snacks. Hashtag. Great to be here, guys. Great to be here despite everything that's going on. And I use that term very specifically because I'm afraid of saying Black Lives Matter to my white relatives. If that is relatable to you, how about we just get rid of everything that's going on from our vocab, switch it over to Black Lives Matter if you're talking about positive stuff, and you know what? Just call it the revolution if you just want to make your skin crawl. Call it what you want. And none of this, I'm lumping it in with the pandemic. Stop lumping it in with the pandemic. The pandemic is still the pandemic, and we can still call that COVID. But now we are talking about the movement. Hey, you call the movement, I call it an exorcism. I don't know if you heard the siren outside of my house. I got the po-po watching my set. I don't know. I feel like I'm not as afraid of the police as I was before inside my house. Actually, it's pretty valid to be afraid of the police inside your house to this day. I just feel like I was liberated a little bit more when their police union, the famous Henry Winkler doppelganger, complained about how police have to scale back the violence. Like just whining about how he's not allowed to crack skulls anymore. Is this what you want? To live? Yes, please, we do. We want safety again, if that's all right with you. But yeah, it's just like I said, it was an exorcism. It's this time to just get the demons out. The power of Christ compels you. The power of common sense compels you. All right. I thought defunding the police was a fringe concept, and then scholars came up and actually said, it could work, and here's how. And I'm like, why have we been sitting on this information? It's like scientists who said, oh yeah, pandemic, we knew about it. And it's like, then you should have been tweeting about it daily with a foil hat on your head. You should have been willing to look insane talking about the pandemic. I know I will put blame on the administration for being slow, and that is where blame belongs. But I also don't want any scientists smugly reminding me that they knew it was coming, because only Howie Mandel was willing to look psychotic for saying we could all die from shaking hands. He's a real one. Congratulations, everybody, on being cast in your very first Spike Lee joint. Everybody's in it now. This is what it feels like, by the way, if you were wondering what it would be like. Because I know 20 years ago, it was not this easy to get in one. And he doesn't even have to be behind the camera right now. He can just call all the footage from Twitter and boom. And it's like, this is the most epic Spike Lee joint. It's Bamboozled, it's Chirac, it's Do the Right Thing, all rolled into one. And I know I might sound a little paranoid that I'm living inside a movie, but for years I thought I was on the Truman Show because the pizzeria on my block was called Pizzeria. It can happen. It also doesn't help that I live in Brooklyn and see John Turturro on a weekly basis. I'm like, we're in a Spike Lee joint. And in my house is Jungle Fever. What? You don't know about that. Mike does. I empathize with police officers. I'm related to one. My cousin's a police officer. And I have not checked up on her yet because she has not checked up on me yet. Okay, it's a two-way street. But I do hope that she's doing all right. And I understand that it can be hard to be on the receiving end. We got a taste of it when Portland posted on Twitter just the kind of projectiles that are being thrown at the police officers. I don't know if you saw that spread. It was like an apple, some White Claw beer, some cigarette butts. It was like these are the basket ingredients from Chopped, first of all. And I don't know, like my husband, he's a comedian, Luke Thayer, you guys saw him last week on the show. He was like, are we sure that's not just a cop's lunch? Let's be real. Did they really get that thrown at them? Or did they pull it out of the old can? I don't know. What do you call a lunchbox that's made of metal? You guys know what it's called. Metal lunchbox. I haven't protested yet. I am so proud of people who have been out protesting. Anybody here in this room or on Facebook Live right now that's fought the good fight, I appreciate it. We have a curfew. I don't know if we still even have it. It's just once I heard about curfew in New York, I was like, you're not going to catch me out there. Someone has to stay and write the story. I have to live to tell a tale, and I will. I'll tell everybody's tale, and I'll make you look super good. But I am being productive. I'm staying inside to stay safe. I'm trying to be political in other ways. I'm working on a game for people to play with their families, an icebreaker game to teach your white family members about social justice. It's called Cards for Humanity. I don't know how great my audio is. If you can hear that someone just started a lawnmower. I live in Brooklyn. There are no lawns, so I have no idea. It's like a horror film come to life outside of my house. It's the cops plus Lawnmower Man. Let's see what else is going on. I'm trying to teach my daughter about this. I'm not trying to teach her about the current climate. I'm just trying to teach her in general. She's 2.5 years old. She's also Black, but by blood and not by visual. It's very hard for me to convince myself and others that she's Black when I look at her. I know that she is me because it's like when you choose emojis on your phone and you could be like that lady that says hi and she's yellow, or you could be the one that's like white or just brown or dark brown. Yeah, it's like that. She has my face, but not my skin color or my hair texture. And essentially I stole my face from my mom. So I stole her face. So what I'm telling you is I've given birth to my mom. I don't know if anyone ever dealt with that. I don't really know what to do. I mean, when she acts out, I discipline her, but then I'm also like, you don't get me. It's really, I'm trying not to just relive angst. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I guess I'll just wait until she dates a Black man and has the grandbaby I thought I would have as a kid. I don't know. Like, I'll get my face and my hair texture. Because hair texture is real. I mean, especially if you're biracial, you come from a world where you have to pick a side. And really pick a side, you don't ever get to say you're not Black, but you either hang out with white friends or you hang out with Black friends. And if you hang out with Black friends, you're told you have good hair. And if you hang out with white friends, you're asked if they can touch your hair. And the answer is no, but yes, it does taste and feel like cotton candy. Now, when you hang around mixed people, Mike knows what this is all about. It's not a love fest. It's like a scrutiny. You have frizz in the 4th quadrant, subsection D. Get it right now. We just whisper to each other because it's about survival, guys. And that even extends to appearances. And so, and I grew up in a white community, so adults that I would babysit for who had children of color or Black kids or Black adopted kids or Black grandbabies would say, how do I do this hair? It's so wild. And I would be like, stop calling it wild. It's fun. And then I would, just really take advantage of this position and say, you need to go to CVS. You need to say the secret password, mulatto. And then they will show you the section of products called Dr. Girlfriend's Marshmallow Cream. I mean, some of it wasn't true, but you gotta enjoy your role. You know what I'm saying? Like Godfather, like, you come to me asking a favor. And so, and the tricky thing about most hair care that's natural, it's now called natural hair care. It's not just for mixed. They used to put mixed right on the bottles so you knew, so people would know. But now we're trying to get away from race on the bottle and go into curl pattern, which makes more sense because I grew up, there was only white people on the box, and then if there's only a Black silhouette, a white woman with curly hair, it feels really am I allowed to use this? Mm-hmm. So now it's just it's all about the curl pattern. It's all natural hair care, and the problem is it has natural ingredients, so that means you got to keep it in the fridge. Don't get hungry at night. You will eat it by accident. Buy two of them. Get a backup because you will eat one. It is exactly like marshmallow cream. And I'm humbled now because I was very much, it's a bit of an indignity to have to curtail your behavior around a different culture for fear of being perceived as aggressive or militant or wild. And so I really did relish my position as the token Black person in my community to answer all the questions. But now, as I'm an adult, I have to humble myself and call those same women up. And I'm like, hi, it's me, Abby, from 20 years ago. I now have to ask you a favor. How do you care for white hair? Truly, because I'll be I'm on book information. We've got Black walls, Black art on the walls, and I paint my walls Black. And we've got Black books, just the art is everywhere. The messaging is internal here, but and I'll pick her hair with an Afro pick, and say my affirmations my beautiful Black queen, but it's long and silky, my Nubian princess, Wakanda forever. It's no tangles. What's up with you? So yeah, it's a whole new world. We're trying to help her appreciate her beauty. And I think the best course of action is just going to be to raise her undercover Black. She can live and walk among the whites. She will have white friends. And the second they say something racist, she'll just pull out her badge and be like, ah, Black. You weren't expecting this, were you? And then inside the badge is a mini bottle of hot sauce, and she'll be like, ah. How do you do that? I'm very, I don't know if you guys were in awe of the sequel to the soundtrack of Gal Gadot's cover of Imagine by John Lennon. The sequel was spoken word. It was not set to music this time, but it was an amalgam of celebrities, all white, speaking to fellow whites, which I appreciate, about how they can do better. What was it? I Take Responsibility is the theme. And it was kind of roasted on Twitter, pretty dragged for seeming a bit too performative and not really action based. And it's also super heavy. And it's just gosh, the quarantine has ruined actors. Get them to a Renaissance fair so they can put on costumes and emote, so they can stop doing it 2 inches from my face. They're so close and it's so intense. And you're just don't put your guilt on me, man. I mean, do it for each other. It's by whites and it's for whites. It was done in partnership with the NAACP, which I do appreciate. I get somewhere along the lines, there was a Black person that said, what you guys need to do is take responsibility for yourselves. And then they were like, note taken. Time to put on makeup. You know, like, say no more. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. And the result was this public thing that then got derided publicly. And I feel like they should have just kept it through a private channel, you know, like, oh, thank you, Meg, got that. I had to check my time. They should just kept it private, you know, because I know you guys have a way of speaking through private channels that we don't hear about. You know, how else would you end up with all your mayonnaise recipes that inexplicably have raisins? All right, I'm Abbi Crutchfield. Thank you guys so much for having a good time, and continue.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sterling and I are so glad that you've all come out tonight. This is what you're here for, right? To see cats on camera. Far more entertaining than I will ever be. But I'm also bringing him here to use him as an advertisement for next week, because my cat is named Sterling after the one and only Rod Serling, creator of the Twilight Zone. Ow, that was bound to happen. The Twilight Zone. He's got all his claws. And next week is a special sci-fi themed show with some sci-fi themed sketch comedy and a special guest host. Wink, it's me in a costume. So thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you to all of our comedians, Shannon, Mike, Emily, Abbi. I also, Abbi, you know, props to you for the police siren. I have to say, like, a Zoom set being interrupted by a police siren is the equivalent of a live show being interrupted by like a loud fart.
Everybody heard it in their apartments.
Yeah, right. And I'm not sure what that makes the lawnmower. I mean, I don't know, maybe projectile vomiting. Like, it's very rare. It could happen. And nobody knows how to deal with it.
Oh, we got through it.
Yes, we got through it, and I hope that all of you will come back next week. I have to say this sincerely. I hope everyone is alive to come back to this show next week. We got a great set of comedians. We've got Utkarsh Rajawat writing for Ryan Chittapong. We've got Lauren Brickman. We've got Steve Johnsey, and we've got Lou Gonzalez. Oh, and yes, Mike Brown is holding up his phone. Be sure to follow all of our comedians. Our Twitter handles are in our names. And thank you for coming out. This is a free show. So if you feel moved to make a donation, I'm going to recommend the Okra Project and the Center for Black Equity. Feel free to make a donation anywhere you would like, as long as it is in the line of Black Lives Matter and not some horrible organization. So anyway, thank you very much. Thank you to all of our comedians. Thank you to Dominique and Jay. Thank you to our audience. We love you. We hope to see you again. We're here for 2 more weeks. Everybody.
Bye.